Either you can't see that or you don't want to.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at references, small details, and other stray observations you might have overlooked in Captain America: Brave New World. Naturally, there will be spoilers.
Is there anything you remember?
Number 15. Ross's new look. When Sam Wilson meets the recently elected President Ross, he points out the former general's new look.
Thanks for coming in. Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
Ross shaved his signature mustache to secure his victory, although this isn't the only thing that's different. William Hurt originated the MCU's incarnation of Thunderbolt Ross in 2008's The Incredible Hulk, going on to play important roles in Captain America: Civil War and Black Widow.
Wouldn't worry about me. We got Barton, we got Wilson, and the other guy, the incredible shrinking convict. Rogers is on the run. You got no friends. Where are you gonna go?
Although Hurt was eager to see his character become Red Hulk, his death in 2022 prompted Marvel to recast with Harrison Ford inheriting the role. While the mustache line serves as a cheeky in-joke, it's also an appropriate political move, seeing how every sitting U.S. president has adopted a clean shave since 1913, excluding Harry Truman during a brief vacation in 1948.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election.
Number 14. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier characters. Those who slept on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier likely won't recognize a few characters who play key parts here.
Tell me I don't make your old gear look brand new.
Who's saying that?
Everybody. Everybody is saying that.
With Sam stepping up his cap, the Falcon mantle has been passed on to Joaquin Torres. A fellow Air Force veteran who provides backup against the Flag Smashers, Torres earns his wings by the miniseries' penultimate episode. Torres is poised to help Sam rebuild the Avengers, which may allow him to finally meet Ant-Man. Brave New World also brings back Isaiah Bradley, another super soldier wrongfully imprisoned for 3 decades. Bucky, meanwhile, is doing better since starting therapy. In fact, he's a future congressman, which will tie into the events of Thunderbolts, according to co-star Wyatt Russell. We guess Bucky is a wartime congressman.
Is that Bucky?
It's a Winter Soldier.
That guy's so cool.
Number 13. The relevance of cherry blossoms. Ross associates cherry blossoms with his daughter Betty, reminiscing about how they were planted around her favorite spot in Washington, D.C. growing up. Director Julius Ona has described the cherry blossoms as a symbol of empathy, ultimately motivating Ross to put his country before his legacy and rebuild a bridge to his estranged daughter. The symbolism goes beyond Ross, however. The Japanese government donated cherry trees to the U.S. in 1912 as a sign of friendship.
Today, the annual blooms bring out more than 1 million visitors.
It's beautiful that we can share this with so many nationalities and so many people, and it's a great thing.
In 2024, Japan sent Washington an additional 250 cherry trees, replacing the ones destroyed during a restoration project. In Brave New World, America finds itself at odds with Japan. The cherry blossoms highlight the history between these two nations, which have repeatedly moved past their differences.
The world is on the brink of war. It's my job to fix it.
Number 12. Why Steve Rogers doesn't appear. The last time we saw an aging Steve Rogers, he entrusted his shield to Sam.
How does it feel?
Like it's someone else's.
It isn't.
We thought Brave New World might clue us in on what the OG Cap has been up to since retiring, although his whereabouts remain a mystery. It was implied at the beginning of Spider-Man: Far From Home that he died, although this was likely a ruse so Rogers could live a private civilian life during his final years.
Gone, but not forgotten.
Thanks to Kenneth Lim and Vihan Ramamurthy for their help with that.
In The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Torres mentions a rumor that Rogers is hiding on a secret moon base, which honestly would not surprise us. While Rogers' name inevitably comes up in Brave New World, the film avoids working in a cameo, permitting Sam Wilson to prove that he can fly solo.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
Number 11. New title ordered. In 2022, it was announced that the 4th Captain America film would be subtitled New World Order, sharing the same name as the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's pilot.
Basically, they think that the world was better during the blip. Trust me, it wasn't.
Trust me, every time something gets better for one group, gets worse for another.
The term New World Order has come up numerous times throughout political history, especially during periods of war. That's likely what Marvel intended to reference, although New World Order has also been linked to anti-Semitic conspiracy theories popularized by people like Alex Jones.
I mean everything I say. when I'm being serious. And more, I'm serious probably 95% of the time.
Marvel changed the title to Brave New World in June 2023, mere months before the Gaza war commenced. With reports of anti-Semitism rising in the US and many questioning the direction the country is heading in, it's safe to say a title like New World Order would have proven even more controversial in 2025.
Tonight is the first step towards lasting peace across this brave new world.
Number 10. Air Ford One. Thaddeus Ross isn't the first president in Harrison Ford's filmography. He famously played the fictional President James Marshall in the 1997 thriller Air Force One.
Change in plan, Danny. Let's go to Barbados.
Anything you want, you're the president.
Brave New World resists the temptation to repeat any lines from that Wolfgang Peterson film, although it does incorporate a nod to Ford's previous stint as president. Heading overseas to discuss the treaty, Ross naturally finds himself aboard Air Force One. Russian terrorists might not be hiding in plain sight, but Ross does find himself being tormented by an invisible enemy who can't be so easily kicked off his plane.
Get off my plane.
Number 9. Serpent Society significance. In 2014, Kevin Feige claimed that the third Captain America film would be subtitled Serpent Society. This confused many fans who assumed a Civil War movie would be the next logical step.
I'm doing what has to be done to stave off something worse.
They were right to be suspicious, as Feige later brought out Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., confirming the real title. That said, the Serpent Society is a criminal organization in the comics. Just over a decade after Feige teased audiences, Serpent Society makes its MCU debut in Brave New World.
Captain America caught without his wings.
While only a side villain here, we can expect to see more of Giancarlo Esposito's Seth Volker. As Sidewinder, Volker's comic counterpart gains teleportation powers, making him hard to incarcerate. Maybe that's what Volker meant when he told Sam he'd escape from prison.
I think the guy that's pushing the buttons to try to get people to look in a new direction is a fun character to play. He has a reason, he's informed by information that you don't have.
Number 8. Betty Ross returns. Captain America Brave New World is just as much a sequel to The Incredible Hulk.
Bruce, I don't understand why we can't just go in there together and talk to him.
He told me what he wanted to do. He wants it out of me. He wants to dissect it so that he can replicate.
Granted, Bruce Banner is nowhere to be found, but Thaddeus Ross's actions in that film are finally catching up to him more than 15 years later. Ross's pursuit of the Hulk cost him his relationship with his daughter Betty, who we haven't seen since. Yes, Betty popped up in What If, although that was an alternate version of her. She was also voiced by Stephanie Panisello, leaving us to wonder if Liv Tyler would ever reprise the role. Just when you thought a phone call would be the extent of Betty's presence, Tyler appears on screen toward the end following one of the longest hiatuses in this franchise.
I always wondered secretly if I was still Betty Ross, because I didn't hear any news for a long time.
Number 7. Conspiracy thriller inspirations. Brave New World shares more than a few parallels to Captain America the Winter Soldier.
But if you want to stay ahead of me, Mr. Secretary, you need to keep both eyes open.
Both films find Captain America caught up in a conspiracy involving a brainwashed friend, an assassination attempt, correct political figures, an organization named after a snake, and a Black Widow. To be fair, The Winter Soldier borrowed heavily from classic conspiracy thrillers like 3 Days of the Condor.
Leave the area.
All right, well, what, do I come into headquarters now?
Negative. Find a secure location.
Where?
Avoid any place unknown. Do not go home. Do not go home. Surface again in 2 hours and call the major.
Likewise, Brave New World looked to clear and present danger, which also starred Ford. The leader spends much of the film hidden in the shadows like Deep Throat in All the President's Men. It might share the most in common with The Manchurian Candidate, another film where a Korean War veteran is brainwashed in a plot to kill a presidential nominee.
You couldn't have stopped them. The army couldn't have stopped them. So I had to.
Number 6. The Leader at Last. Betty Ross isn't the only Incredible Hulk character who makes an overdue comeback. Played by Tim Blake Nelson, Dr. Samuel Stearns sought to help Bruce Banner.
It's Mr. Blue, isn't it?
Mr. Green? I've got to tell you, I've been wondering if you were even real.
During a lab accident, though, Stearns' DNA mixed with Banner's, setting the stage for him to mutate into the leader. Eventually. Of all the seemingly abandoned MCU subplots, the leader arguably lingered in limbo the longest.
Let's assume you don't understand a word I'm saying, but if you'll just get back on the table, I can fix this.
Stearns did appear in the Avengers Prelude comic Fury's Big Week, having a run-in with Natasha Romanoff. He also briefly popped up in the Thor Ragnarok Prelude comic miniseries. Brave New World marks Nelson's first on-screen appearance as Stearns since 2008. After being under Ross's thumb all these years, Stearns uses his intellect to get his revenge.
It was worth the wait.
Number 5. New origin for Red Hulk. Ironically, Red Hulk made his comic debut in 2008, the same year the MCU's first Hulk movie came out. The comics initially kept Red Hulk's true identity a secret before revealing Ross as the man behind the rage in 2010's World War Hulks. In another twist, Betty is exposed as Red She-Hulk during that storyline. Thaddeus willingly made this transformation to stand a chance against Bruce Banner's Hulk, receiving aid from the advanced idea mechanics and intelligentsia. In Brave New World, Ross learns that Stearns has been poisoning his heart medicine, setting the stage for him to become Red Hulk.
I knew he got big. I knew he got mean. I knew he got red. That's all I needed to know.
Although the film ends with Ross locked up in the raft, it wouldn't be surprising if he embraced Red Hulk again with new threats coming. Number 4. Ruth Bat-Seraph changes. Emmy-nominated actress Shira Haas joins the MCU as Ruth Bat-Seraph, or Sabra as she's known in the comics. While Bat-Seraph is badass in both versions, there are some major differences.
What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
In this film, she's a former Black Widow who has since become President Ross's head of security. Her comic counterpart works for Mossad, Israel's actual secret service, and possesses mutant abilities. The MCU's interpretation of the character doesn't have any superpowers, yet. Her Israeli background is preserved, but it's downplayed, likely due to the ongoing war in Gaza. Haas was notably born in Israel, her family being Polish-Jewish. Despite the controversy surrounding her character, Brave New World does its best to address life-world conflicts while maintaining Bat-Seraph's most important traits.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Number 3. Who was Celestial Tiamat again? Along with The Incredible Hulk, Brave New World is something of a stealth epilogue to Eternals.
It is a side effect of the emergence.
The emergence?
It is time for you to learn the true purpose of your mission. You were sent to Earth to bring forth the Celestial Tiamat.
In that 2021 film, our heroes rally to stop Tiamat the Communicator, a celestial bound to destroy Earth. Cersei manages to turn Tiamat into marble, with his corpse in the Indian Ocean. That said, the Eternals left a huge mess behind that humanity was bound to stumble across. While the incident was alluded to in She-Hulk Attorney at Law, the MCU has otherwise tiptoed around the giant head and hand sticking out of the ocean. Until now. Not only does Tiamat's defeat factor into Brave New World, but it paves the way for some potentially game-changing discoveries.
Nobody saw that.
Number 2. Adamantium. Much of the plot in Brave New World revolves around Ross trying to secure a treaty over the world's most valuable element, adamantium, which was discovered at Tiamat's gravesite.
Adamantium have turned us against each other.
This is the same metal alloy that enhanced Wolverine's skeleton and retractable claws, making him practically indestructible. After Deadpool and Wolverine, it seemed like Marvel might keep Hugh Jackman around for the long haul.
Fox killed him. Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
Whether or not they're really waiting for him to turn 90, the introduction of adamantium perhaps means that a new Wolverine is waiting in the wings. Wolverine isn't the only Marvel character who has used adamantium either, possibly setting us up for Cyber or Lady Deathstrike. It'll be interesting to see how this impacts Wakanda now that there's an alternative to vibranium. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. others. During the post-credit scene, Sam visits an incarcerated Stearns. Although Captain America won this round, Stearns tells Sam that others are coming from another universe. Who is Stearns referring to? Well, we can probably cross off the Council of Kings. Stearns' vague omen might pay off in the Fantastic Four First Steps, which takes place in an alternate universe.
Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
With the arrival of Galactus, the Fantastic Four may flee to Earth 616. If they cross universes, who's to say Galactus won't follow? Or Doctor Doom, for that matter. Just as Robert Downey Jr. is returning in a villainous role, it's been theorized, yet not confirmed, that Chris Evans could appear in Avengers Doomsday as an evil Captain America. Whatever's coming, it's a brave new world indeed.
You have no idea what I have in store.
Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments.
What you've accomplished has given me reason to reconsider.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.